Hi there, this is Eden from the Road to Retirement channel. Today we are going to discuss retirement and climate change. You may be wondering if your retirement would be affected by all the extreme weather events you've seen or heard in the news, or even experienced firsthand. Yes, friends, climate change affects retirement. Know why and how. Tara, let's hit the road. My idea of a perfect morning in retirement starts with brewing a strong pot of coffee, sipping it mindfully while watching the waves crash to the shore. Sounds dreamy, and if only I could plan and will that to happen, I would be so happy. But climate change could impact my morning ritual in retirement. How's that? Well, coffee would still be available for sure. But how will that coffee taste like with beans grown in a warmer environment or drenched with more rain than usual? How much would coffee cost? Probably not cheap and really expensive for the more exotic kinds. Beachfronts, a dream retirement for many of us, may need to be re-evaluated. With sea level rise, there is a real danger of losing land to the sea if you live in low-lying beachfronts. So yes, climate change is one of those things that will affect our retirement. Collectively, we can do something, and we have to do something. Individually, we can do something, like we can plan it into our retirement. When preparing for your retirement, you will be thinking where you will be living long term. Include climate change into the mix of things to consider. Just think of the people in Cebu or Siargao post-Odette, or whatever location post an extreme climate disaster, and you'll see that's not a pretty picture. My relatives live in Cebu, which was devastatingly affected by the super typhoon Odette. I spent Christmas Eve 2021 clearing the debris in the family home, bringing water into the house, and planning for a Christmas Eve dinner by candlelight. If that is happening now, how much worse can it get in 10-20 years when we are retired and climate change is in full swing? Before we continue, I have a small favor to ask. Please hit the subscribe button and the notification bell. That will help this small channel get the love and attention it needs. Thank you, dear friends. Let us now go through this short checklist of questions and see if we have covered all our bases when it comes to climate change and how it affects our retirement. First off, ask yourself, how will I be affected by extreme weather events? Here in the Philippines, we get hit by 20 typhoons every year, and about 9 of these make landfall. It is anyone's guess as to where these make landfall, but there are some areas really prone to these typhoon paths. Maybe steer clear of those. Do you know that there is a disaster map of the Philippines that you can check just how vulnerable your place of retirement or even your current place is to flooding, landslides, and the overall disaster risk? I left the link down below for you to check. Also, in one of those studies often quoted for climate change risk, 4 Philippine cities are among the top 10 most vulnerable cities in East Asia and the Pacific region to sea level rise and intensified storm surges. These Philippine cities are Sanjose, Manila, Roxas, and Cotabato. So better steer clear of these cities if you can help it. You don't want stress to shorten those happy retirement years. Aside from typhoon, there is also flooding. Check if you live near rivers that may overflow during heavy rainfall, or if you live near a hillside which can be a landslide-prone area. Forest fires are not often reported in the news, but just check if it happens in your local area. Drought we haven't experienced in a while, but in some parts of California, US for example, Drought is making water a scarce commodity in some counties. If 24/7 running water is a must for you, consider places with good water concessionaires and water sources. Make a mental note of all the extreme weather events you have heard in the news and their effects, and see which ones are most applicable to you. Where you live will have a big impact on how much you will be affected by climate change. And that choice can significantly impact your retirement finances and your quality of life. Second question, will I be forced to move out during the typhoon season or during those times when there is just no running water or utilities? That might sound extravagant right now, but in reality, it is just easier to move out than to wait things to get better. Post to that, a number of people moved out of Cebu City into the provinces up north, where cellular signal and electricity were available, and more importantly, there was running water. Third question, do I need to get an insurance policy for extreme weather events and climate disasters? See which insurers will cover weather and climate disasters, and check which ones are applicable to you. Flood insurance is readily available, and you should get one, especially if you are vulnerable. Treat it like car insurance, where it's something you would like to have just in case, but hope you wouldn't have to use it. Fourth question, what is the financial burden of fixing stuff post-extreme weather events, or securing the house to withstand extreme weather events? Let's go back to the Super Typhoon Odette example earlier. After Odette, I was surveying the family home and I could see the following needs to be fixed. The lanai area where the clear roofing was blown off with some trusses distorted, and the water tank which was uprooted from the overhead area blown to the grass. No kidding. If you add the expenses to fix those things up, my mom had to cough maybe around 70K. It's not cheap at all. But if you compare it to our neighbors, we were one of the lucky ones. If something of this extreme event happened every year in retirement, that could easily eat up a huge chunk of your retirement. Perhaps you should consider adding this as part of your retirement budget. Ouch! One other side effect of this is you may want to pay upfront for upgrades to mitigate the risk of climate change effects on your property. Example, while an ordinary glass for your windows will cost you say 50K or 50,000, having the tempered glass alternative, which is stronger, will set you back twice as much. So that's 100K. This is not some upgrade that you would want to do when you're retired already. In one of my videos, I suggested retrofitting your house and making it retirement ready, say 4 years from retirement. So if you live in a vulnerable area, and this can be very localized, check upgrades that you would want to do. Back to our family property. Our place was not ravaged that much because next door our neighbor built a 5-story building, dwarfing the 2-story commercial structure in our property. So if your neighbor's building is strategically blocking heavy winds, then switching to tempered glass might not be something that you would consider, and instead opt for a robust solar home PV system. That way, you'll still have power and electricity even when the power from the grid has not been restored. We talked a lot about things here and there, so let me now give you the key takeaways. First, location, location, location. It plays a big role in mitigating extreme weather events due to climate change. Second, see how you will be affected. Typhoons, flooding, landslide, forest fires, drought. Third, see if you need to move out regularly during the typhoon season or whatever season. Fourth, see how insurance can help you mitigate risk. And fifth, See how well you can secure your home and make it ready for extreme weather events. While it does seem that climate change is insurmountable and we cannot adapt our way out of it, every little thing we do helps. We can influence others to do the same. Keep the topic alive in our conversations with friends and colleagues. We can also influence our politicians and businesses with our voices, our votes, and wallets. True, we cannot prepare for everything, but on the road to retirement, we can plan for some very important things.